If you want to be more successful, if you want to be able to earn more money, if you want to have greater peace or greater happiness or even have a fulfilling life, I want to share with you right now what I call the 7-level success stack. And this is the framework that I use with myself. So I'm living a happy, content, successful, fulfilled life. But this is the exact framework I use when I go to a partner, when I work with a CEO, with a founder, for them to be able to be the people that they want to be able to become, but also all of the team members for the business. This is such a vital framework that when I finally really was able to clasp onto this, I was able to use this really easily to engineer success so much easier. And this is why I want to share this with you. Because for me, the Buddha said that when compassion and emptiness are arisen, that enlightenment is unavoidable. Unavoidable. That is a bold, ballsy promise to make, and I stick with that because when I believe that you have these 7 levels put together, that your success is as close to unavoidable as it really comes. Because for me, when I know, whenever I look back, whenever I didn't achieve the things that I didn't achieve, when I made the biggest mistakes, when I was just in the darkest moments, I didn't have one of these or many of these 7 areas put together. So if I was to come into your business, if I was to sit down with you and best help you become the most successful person that you want to be able to become, the happiest and the most peaceful and the fulfilled, then I would start to work with this 7-level success stack with you. Now, before we get into this, to make this really useful for you, as we go through each of these 7 levels, I just want you to think of the traffic light process, right? Green, orange, red. When we go through something, I want you to think, do I have this green? As in, do you have it actually working? It's systemized, it's a process that you're using, and it's being able to do what it needs to be able to do. Or is it orange? Maybe you don't really have it there, it's a little bit there, but it's clearly broken and it needs to be fixed. It needs to be actually solidified into something that you know is going to best work for you. Or is it red, which is it's completely broken, or you just don't have that process put together as well. So to make this useful, you can look at it and go, right, write these 7 down. Now, if you're listening to me on the podcast right now, you're probably going to want to come revisit this so you can sit down and actually go through it, but you want to be able to write these 7 down and be able to prioritize it, because to make this really useful, don't think that you're going to just use all 7 of these and be able to fix these 7 factors inside of your business or with yourself straight away. No, just start with 1. Start with 1 and be able to work through it. And you'll see as I unpack these 7 levels, it will become quite obvious that it is really working from the bottom up. So with this 7-level success stack, think of a pyramid right now. Now we're actually going to start at the top and we're going to work our way down to the bottom, because you'll see when we get to the very bottom of this, this is the stuff that I find is most integral. This is what is most powerful, because once you align it, then it works its way back up as we go through it. So at the very top of the pyramid, at level 1, what we have is tools. Do you have the tools for what it is that you need to be able to do? So let's say you're running a business and you want to be able to get more clients. Do you have the tools in your business, and are you using those tools so it does the things that you need to do, such as getting leads or making sales or taking payments or delivering the promise to your clients? Do you actually have the tools in place? Let's just say, for example, one of the tools could be an email CRM system, for example, right? Do you actually have that right tool in place, whether it's Active Campaigns or MailChimp or ClickFunnels or goddammit, any of those stuff in place? Typically, so many entrepreneurs and business owners, especially in the lower rungs and when they're getting stuck, is they're focusing too much on the tools. They think that's the be all and end all, that they need the right piece of software, that they need that right hammer for them to be able to nail that thing in. And typically that is not the case, because you'll see below from tools, then we go to skills. Do you have the skills for you to do what it is that you need to be able to do? And this takes self-reflection upon yourself. This takes you having a perspective of, well, are you doing what you need to do at the level, at the preciseness, at the quality that you need to be able to do it? Because if you have the right tool, but you don't have the skill to use the right tool, well, it's pretty obvious. You're not going to get the result. From tools, we have skills, and then below, we have systems. Do you have the systems in place for you to be able to do what it is that needs to get done as well? Because too much of the time, especially when it comes into the place of running a business, that a business isn't able to have a replicatable, duplicatable, predictable system in place for the result to actually get coming about as well. Because once we go from tools to skills to systems, then we have the strategy. Do you have the right strategy? The overall arching, that kind of 40,000 foot view, looking down and understanding that you know the game plan that you need to be able to play to get to where it is that you want to be able to go. Too often of the time, I will sit down with a CEO, founder, and I'll look into a business and it is lacking the strategies. From the lacking of the strategies, of course, there can't be the right systems in place. And if you don't have the right systems in place, well, then you're not going to have the right skills. And if you don't have the right skills, it doesn't matter what tools you have, it's still not going to be able to work properly. Now we get to kind of a deeper level. And these last three, the bottom three level, I think is really critical. And to be perfectly honest, I think these bottom three are the ones most entrepreneurs don't think a lot about. And so for me, this next level below strategy is environment. It is, are you placing yourself, importantly, yourself in the right environment to be able to thrive? If you were to put a gorgeous flower in the wrong environment, a dark room with no water, with no sunlight, is it going to be able to thrive? No. If you put yourself in the wrong environment, why are you expecting yourself to thrive? Too often in the case, and I know this so personally because I went through this, it takes just hardcore discipline and hard work and just gritting your teeth and bleeding through the forehead to be able to make something happen where you could have just changed your environment to then set yourself up for that unavoidable success at the end of the day. So environment comes down to, well, what's the information? What are you consuming on a day-to-day level? Is it just crap that you're scrolling through on social media? Are you watching the news? What is it that comes with the people that you are then surrounding yourself with? Are you surrounding yourself with the people that are actually going to be best supporting you be the person that you need to be as well? And it really comes down to as well, are you living in the right location? Now, some people, many people, are going to not be able to just pack up and move somewhere else. That's perfectly fine. See what other changes can happen with your total environment. That many of the case, and this comes for myself, why we have lived around the world. And a big factor is, well, what's the environment that we want to be in this chapter of life? And I think about that for myself and for my wife and our 4 daughters, and thinking, where does the 6 of us need to be for each of us to thrive in this chapter of life? Then from environment, we come to beliefs. What are the beliefs that you have? How is it that you're actually operating on? Do you have a belief that money's hard to come by? Do you have a belief that it's hard to get in shape? Do you have a belief that you've got to work really hard, really long hours to be able to build a successful business? Because if you have those beliefs, well, it's really hard to push past those. It's really hard to break past those things when they're standing in your way. When really simply, if you are able to then change, shift, have a different multi-perspectival view in how you're looking at things, you're then able to show up so much easier. Because when having the right beliefs, then you can see that you can start making better, more informed, more direct decisions that will take you to where it is that you want to be able to go. But from beliefs, rather than just thinking about just changing beliefs, and if you've got, say, self-sabotaging beliefs, there is this bottom level that I want to be able to go to. And it's how you best show up to yourself, to the world on a day-by-day basis. And that is identity. Do you have the identity? Are you actually embodying the person that you need to be that is going to achieve, do, be, have the things that you want as well? Because when you have the right identity, then you're able to better and much easier craft the right beliefs, because then that leads into the right thoughts and actions that set you up for your environment, with your environment you've been setting yourself up with, cultivating what's needed for you to have the right thinking, the right thoughts, the right feedback, the right actions, to have the right strategies that then go into everything else that's needed for you to do on a day-by-day basis for you to show up. And I know this is hard, this is a very nuanced concept of the identity that I'm going to dive into in upcoming episodes, because it is one of the most important factors. If you're not showing up, if you don't have the identity of the person that you need to be able to be, do, and have and achieve the things that you want, honestly, in my eyes, god damn it, that's going to be really hard. You are pushing a heavy stone uphill, trying to then thinking that you can be, do, and have and achieve all those things that you want. So stepping back into it, you want to be able to look at this success stack right now. Where are you lacking? What's green? What's orange? What's red? What is, importantly, the one area that you feel like you need to be able to work on? What is it that you can actually put your focus and attention into? Because this is the difference between right now, I put a bit of a challenge to you. This is the difference between you having, say, just-in-time learning and just-in-case learning. Because just-in-case learning is just like you listening, watching, reading a bunch of different stuff that's all over the place, right? Just in case you might need to use it one day. But I dare you, I challenge you, I double dare you, to think about right now, what's the one area that you believe that you need to be able to work on to best move forward and create momentum in your life to create the success that you want, and then only consume and be around and focus on the things that you need to do to be able to have that one area of that success stack to move forward. Then once you feel like you've created momentum, once it starts to turn into a bit of a green light, then you're able to move on to the other ones so that you can bring the entire pyramid together as well. So I really want to make sure that you use this and just choose and start with that one step. And I'd love to know, what is that one step? What is that one area of the success stack that you're going to be working on? Comment below, let me know what it is that you're going to be working on, because I would love to be able to help you and know, because as a community, and as I'm a believer, that a rising tide lifts all ships. So if this has been any valuable to you whatsoever, if you're on YouTube, then hit the like and hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to me on the podcast, then do make sure that you follow either on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And in any way, please let me know what it is that you're taking from these episodes, because I'd love to be able to connect with you. And as always, I appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next episode.